This is the next chapter of The Art of Public Speaking. This is chapter 8, supporting your ideas. There are a lot of different ways to support your ideas, whether it's informative, but especially if it's persuasive ideas, ways to support your ideas that prove that you're right or that support what it is you're saying if you're doing an informative speech. One of the primary ways, one of the most powerful ways, especially for persuasion, is the use of examples. You can do brief examples or brief stories. You can also do extended examples. You have to be careful about extended examples because extended examples can eat up your time in your message, and you also need other things in it as well. Hypothetical examples. Hypothetical examples can be good, but real life, true story examples are more powerful because they hit home with people. And if you're going to use a hypothetical example, you want to use that or tell the audience that right up front, because and I had a student do this, if you tell the audience or you imply to the audience it's a true story, and at the end of that true story, you get everybody involved in what they think is a true story, and at the end of it, you tell them it's a hypothetical example, you're going to lose your audience. I had a student who did that. The class literally, they sat back, they folded their hands, and they just kind of started looking at each other like, are you kidding me? This student, there was a guy, I think it was, got us involved with these characters, and now he's telling us they were hypothetical, not buying it, and they were done listening to the story truly. Tips for using examples: use examples to clarify your ideas, use examples to reinforce your ideas. Use examples, and this is one of the most powerful things you can do to any speech, is use examples, and especially personal examples, to personalize your ideas. Make your examples vivid and richly textured. Practice delivery, especially on extended examples. Practice the delivery so you know exactly how long it's going to take you. You can use statistics to support your ideas and to support your speech. You have to be very, very careful with statistics. If you're going to use a statistic, you have to understand it. If you don't understand that statistic, don't use it. You have to know, are the statistics representative? Because there are a lot of ways that people can actually lie with statistics. They'll use a statistic that's really not representative of what's going on or the whole of the population. Are they being measured correctly? It's a good thing to know what's called the margin of error on a poll, because on a poll, they'll have a margin of error. And if it's outside that margin of error, then it can be a completely irrelevant poll that someone has done. And then, of course, are the statistics from a reliable source? Because there are people who will do statistics, but the way the questions are answered, it might be leading, it might be other problems with it as well. It talks about tips for using statistics. You use them to quantify your ideas. One of the most important things is use statistics sparingly. I recommend 2 or 3. Once you get to 4 or 5, these little shades roll down, and all of a sudden you lose people, and they're somewhere else. It's good to identify the source of your statistics and explain clearly what your statistics mean in regard to your particular thing that you're trying to prove. It's good to round off complicated statistics. We don't want to get into to small numbers. You might say, well, Kilimanjaro is 19,300 feet high. Well, it is. It doesn't mean that much less to anybody to say it's almost 20,000 feet high. You can use visual aids to clarify statistical trends, especially if you're talking about a problem, a solution, or a cause and effect. If you're talking about a problem, solution, a cause and effect, statistics can make that very clear, especially in a persuasive speech. That is going to be part 1 of this chapter, and we will come back in just a little bit here, and you will see that part 2 will come up as well. This is part 1 of the chapter, and I will do part 2 of chapter 8 and add that as well.